So, I have had some computer issues and have not been able to write the Mokuroku. I'm not really sure when that will resolve. I am going to have it looked into this week. So for the time being, we're going to start a different series of Mokuroku purely because I don't remember the last number for what we did in our usual numerical order. We will call this the first exclusive video Mokuroku, okay? And I will start doing a series of those. And when the computer is fixed, I will try to also continue the writing of the Mokuroku. All right. With that said, I want to really sort of back away from this very conceptual stuff we've been doing with Sword, try to anchor us a little bit in some of the other aspects that we should be exploring in our art. They all come together, they're all important, they're all relevant. This is simply a way to refocus a little bit. One of the things about this system is that it's a wheel, it's not a line. You can come in anywhere and start the training because you're dealing with body movements, and your ability to properly execute depends on your skill with those movements and how they apply in your muscle memory and in your technical skills. So you can always pick a particular focus. And in this case, what I want to focus on are two aspects. I want to talk about kicking and pivoting, okay? We'll start with pivoting. So I said some time ago in one of my videos that I have never heard of a Koryu that does solo kata, and I stand by that. Except I have now heard of at least one that does. And the reason I mention that is one of the exercises was teaching people how to pivot, okay? And doing so properly. This applies when you're on the ground and kneeling, but it also applies standing. And there's some pretty important fundamentals to understand, and I want to go over a few of those briefly. The first, just see if I can see my feet. Good. Okay. When I have to come this way and move, okay, where I take weight on my foot is very important. So I have two options. Well, three. I can go on my toe, I can go on my heel, or I can use the side of my foot, okay? They all are valid. They all have their purpose and execution. So let's look at them briefly, okay? If I want to make some sort of a circular movement, generally speaking, if I pivot off of my toe, this opens up my line going forwards, okay? It also allows me to make a semicircle fairly easily, okay? So that's useful in that fashion. I can also open this line with my heel, okay? Which allows me also to directly use my weight, okay? Fluidly, okay? Just simply by sinking, pivoting on my heel, and going forwards, okay? You open up these fighting lines because you have to transfer your weight properly if you want to get power. So without doing that, you're just using inefficient movements, and you're not really going to be effective, or as effective as you could be technically, okay? So for example, simple thing like some sort of a Daken type long punch, okay? Something you might see in the Bushinkan, Doko no Kamae, or in Chinese boxing, in Shini, something like this, okay? The important thing is what happens with the foot. If I don't open this line and I come this way, I'm not transferring my weight. And if I transfer it at the last minute, I'm already grounded at this point, okay? The most efficient transfer of weight comes when if I'm stepping, my foot and hand simultaneous, okay? As the strike makes contact, the weight settles, okay? You can read as far back as when Dempsey described punching to see this principle at work, okay? But in order to do that effectively, you want to open that line up. You can do it either way. You can do it off your toe, although you're much more grounded if you do it off your heel, okay? So the heel is actually a good choice for that maneuver. You have to excuse my own balance. I am crippled, so I have certain idiosyncrasies. But nevertheless, here's the point. My weight is on this heel. This line is now open. Okay? That's an example of that. Let's say I want to make some sort of a movement, a circular movement, a semicircle. Then the toe, just by sliding this out and turning, boom, I can generate force this way pretty easily. And I can also fluidly move into that area, okay? In order to execute whatever I plan to do. The final way is a little bit more elaborate, and it has to do with the side of your foot. When you take the side of your foot, the weight, and you transfer it properly, it gives you stability. And that's what the outside of your foot should be looked upon as, okay? If I'm resisting here, okay, and I'm on my toes, or if I'm pushing in this way, I don't really have any ground, okay? I'm much more effective if, in some fashion, my weight is being taken upon the side of my foot to my heel, okay? It allows me to now ground, okay? Think of a ground like you would in any other reference point capacity, just like with electricity, for example. You want to stabilize yourself, okay? So that your body can generate the proper force or the proper position, as the case may be, all right? These pivots, they all have to do with how you set up so that you can allow your body to generate the force necessary. I'm going to make one final point about the pivots, then we'll do another video on the kicking. The pivots allow you to open up your structure when you hit, okay? Sometimes if you're hitting fast and direct, it's not as important because most of your power is coming from your turning movement. But if you're making a stepping movement of a sort, or some sort of a thrusting movement, it's very important that you open that line up, okay? Because you want your power to go from you to your target, and not simply into the ground, back into your structure, okay? If I do something, watch this back foot here. If I come here and I'm here, when I hit, I'm going to bounce back because I'm not grounded, and a lot of my energy is going to go right back into my own structure. You want your energy to go into the target, and anything that doesn't go, you want it to flow freely through your own structure, unhindered, okay? So by opening that line up, bam, okay? Bam. Now my energy is this way. I can augment that by turning my shoulder as I hit. There's all kinds of things I can do, but you have to get those dynamics down first to do any of the other more complete dynamics. Okay, we'll stop this video here and we'll go on to kicking, which will give us some more insight into this principle of grounding and how we use the body to pivot.